Welcome back to Flint Creek Transport. My name is Justin. Today we're going to be talking about tires. Tires on trucks are a big expense, and you got fuel, you got labor, and insurance or tires. I don't know, wherever you want to put it, but tires are definitely expensive. It depends on your application and what you're doing with them, but for us, we use a lot of tires, and they are a fairly big expense for us in our fleet. There are many different kinds of tires, and I know that tires are something where people have kind of opinions on which tire is the best, and you know, recaps are terrible and whatever it is. But today I want to tell you the brands of tires that we use, and I also want to tell you why we do what we do. I don't want to try to change your mind, because I probably won't, but I can at least give you maybe some methods or some reasons why we do what we do, and maybe it's something that you can also utilize in your business as well. One thing I'll say with tires, and this goes for just about everything, I'm not afraid to try something new as long as it makes sense. If Continental comes out with a new tire, hey, try this tire out, I'm not afraid to try it out. If Michelin, comes out with a new tire, I'm not afraid to try it out. We primarily run Michelin and Continental, and with those two brands, I'm really not afraid to try anything out. Once it gets outside of there, then I'm a little slower or more hesitant to try things out because of the success that we've had with Michelin and Continental. Another thing I'll say about tires is tires are like any other parts, or you buy it in bulk and you're going to save. You buy 10 trucks at a time, you're going to save some money. You're going to buy 100 filters at a time, you're going to save some money. Same way with tires. So if you want to save a little bit of money with tires, buy 30, 40, 50, 70 at a time, and try to negotiate a little bit with your salesman. Hey, what can you do if I get this many tires at a crack? And I'll tell you, I'll start off by saying, when I started running Flint Creek more and more, I soon realized tires is, it's a big expense, and we're spending a lot of money on tires, and we're burning through them pretty fast. We have a lot of spread axle trailers, and that's why we burn through tires pretty fast. I'm like, there's got to be a way that I can get tires cheaper. We getting more and more trucks, more and more trailers, somehow, some way, got to get tires cheaper. Well, thanks to our salesman here at Talmadge, he hooked us up with a company called AmeriQuest, and you have to have, I think, right around 80 to 100 power units to be able to get in with AmeriQuest. I did not quite have that at the time, and I worked with a friend, and between our two businesses, we were able to meet that requirement, and we were able to get in with AmeriQuest. Basically, AmeriQuest is a buying group that lets us buy tires at a discounted price. And not only tires, but lets us buy a lot of other things at a discounted price. So that was huge. I can actually buy tires cheaper than what our dealer can buy tires for. Like, it's a huge savings that we get. That's been amazing. Here goes with our tire brands that we primarily use here at Flint Creek. So I'll start off with a steer tire, and then we'll go into some of the other tires. I got actually all the tires lined up. We keep some of them here in stock, and then we also have more in the back. But here's our tire. The steer tire that we use primarily is the Continental HS3. The trailer tire that we use of choice is the Continental HSR2. I think actually now they're probably an HSR3. The drive tire of choice is the Michelin XZE, and our trailer recap, we do run recap. That is I think an HT3, a Continental recap. And then here is another tire that we've been testing, and I did not have as good of luck with this tire, but this is the Michelin XZE. Great tire. I'll get back to that in a little bit. Steer tires, we've kind of been running these tests between Michelin and Continental, and one of the things that I always look at is the price. You start figuring out the price per mile, and right off the bat, the Continental is cheaper in cost. The Michelin XZE can be used as a steer tire, but we have not had as good a success with the Michelin as we did with the Continental. The Michelins will run out a little bit longer, but you look at the upfront cost of the Continental being so much less, I can still get the value out of the Continental. We can also use this HSR2 as a steer tire, but we didn't have very good success with that. Just they're not, maybe you say, as round as the HS3. It's more of regional, or more of a local. If you're really local, maybe you'd use HSR2. So the Continental HS3 is our choice for steer tires. We will run some Michelins and some of those if we can, maybe get them at a good price. But so far, for right now, the Continental HS3 has been our tire of choice. For trailer application, like I said, we have a lot of spread axle trailers, and spread axle trailers, high scrub application. That front axle, you get a lot of twist. This HSR2 has been a fantastic tire. We've tried other brands. I've actually, again, I went to the Michelin XZE, and the Michelin XZE compared to the Continental HSR2, it is very, very similar. The problem that we run into with the Michelin XZE is once I got down to pretty low tread, it seems like they would chunk out pretty quick. And that was the issue we were having with our XZEs. And once they chunk out, it's really hard to get them in for a recap. The drive tires, we are running the Michelin XDN2. We also have a few, show you over here, we have a few Michelin Multi-D. We actually had these for quite a while. We just got to get them on a truck. The Multi-D was something that we tried, and it's okay, but still doesn't compare quite like the XDN2. The Michelin XDN2 is probably one of these tires that is talked about. A lot of owner operators use these Michelins, and I would say a lot of tire manufacturers like Bridgestone and Continental, there's a couple of them that tried to make tires similar to the Michelin XDN2. And believe it or not, I've tried like Continental's version of the Michelin out, and those little stones would get stuck in the tire and they wouldn't clean out, and then it would actually, the stone would wear into the rubber. So that was a big problem that we had. When we get our Michelins in, we do get virgins for more over-the-road trucks, and then the local trucks we will do recap. Our recaps that we get, we can also get a Michelin XDN2 recap. That has been fantastic for us. These tires we can put on, we don't have to rotate them a lot. They've been running very, very well for us. One of the concerns some guys say is, you're crazy running a recap, but we've actually had very good success with recaps. And I'll tell you why we've had good success with recaps. Most guys, they're like, I'm never running a recap, but it's because they're getting people's junk, all right? If you're watching your air pressure on your tires, you're not letting them run low. And then on the other hand, like sending in a good casing is gonna get you a good recap. Most times these big fleets, they'll go 20, 30,000 miles between a service and what you have. Tire run low for a little while, not gonna notice it. Goes in for a service, they pump it back up. Well, after a while, they're gonna turn that tire in get a new one, and they're gonna get 25, 30 bucks, 40 bucks for that casing. Now you get a tire, you're gonna go put it on your truck, and it's gonna blow within, who knows, in the first month. And you're gonna be like, I hate caps, I hate caps. And we watch our casings, we watch our tires every service, every 5,000 miles. These trucks roll in here, we get tire pressures, we make sure they're good. And we have very, very, very few issues, maybe 1 or 2 a year. Usually if a cap's gonna blow, it's gonna blow right away. When they produce the tire, when they put that cap on there, usually it's something that they did wrong, not necessarily something that we did wrong. Every once in a while, like I said, a bad cap or casing will slip through, but very seldom. So our recaps, we've been having very good success with. Our virgins will get 2 to 250 out of a set of virgins. Kind of depends on the driver. Our recaps will get 80 to 110, 20, somewhere in there. Again, depends on the driver, depends on the work, what it is. And then we only cap our tires one time. Only one time, and they go. And then we'll still get 25, 30 bucks for a casing. We've tried other things. We've tried capping them twice, and we've had issues. And I said, no more, not happening. And so just a matter of changing, and our guys know when after it's capped one time, we get a casing credit. So 25, 30 bucks we get for the casing, and guess what? Guess who buys it? Probably one of you guys, and you guys go and have issue with it. No, I don't know. But once a tire is capped the second or third time, if you're trying to run overweight, the weight that we run, 100,000 pounds on these trailers, I probably wouldn't recommend getting recaps, especially if you don't know where that casing come from. If you're a farmer, you're not going that far, you're not going to build up a lot of heat with these tires, or, you know, whatever. You just need a cheap tire to throw on there. Like I said, don't be trying to haul heavy, you know, at 70 miles an hour down the thruway on an 80-degree day, because it's not going to work. So Michelin XZE, we have very little issue with these. They don't do cupping and all the crazy stuff. They do rotate the tires every once in a while, but nothing like other tires. We've had Kelly's, we've had a lot of different tires that we tried out. Michelin has been the best. The other thing I'll say with Michelin is I would rather run a wore out Michelin than a full tread. I won't say the name of the tire. So what I'm getting at is a wore out Michelin is still has good traction. I know you guys might argue with me a little bit, but it is a different compound of rubber, and many times when guys, they look at the tire, oh, it has no traction, you know, whatever, they're gonna get stuck. But believe it or not, it's a lot in how you leave out the clutch. It's a lot in how you take off if you're stuck, whatever it is. You know, traction, it does make a little bit difference depending, you know, on the application. But for us, these Michelins have been fantastic. You know, and that's a challenge to any sales rep that can come in here and sell us a tire that's better than a Michelin XZE. Most of these guys come in here and they admit that Michelin XZE is probably one of the best tires, but they feel we're using it in the wrong application for what we do. The other thing I'll say is 16-ply tires is all that we run. So we got to have 16-ply tires. There's a lot of other brands of tires that are out there, but you can't get 16-ply. Got to be a 16-ply. This is the cap, and we've learned some lessons with the cap on the trailers. The reason caps work well on drives is because they're close together. The weight is distributed real close. On a spread axle, you have one front, one back. The back axle always wears, I don't know, just how it happens. It wears faster. The front axle is high scrub, and we had issues where the caps would peel off, they would chunk, and sometimes leaving air out of the axle, or if it's not aired up properly and your ABS isn't working, you can just make flat spots on these tires like super fast. So on the spread axles, we will run caps on the back, but we will only run virgins on the front axle. The other thing is, like on our van trailers, which our vans and reefers, we don't run heavy, so we have like maybe 5 or 6 trailers like that, and those I'm not afraid to run something that's capped. Like I'll buy a cap for one of those, or I just get a, you know, cheaper, like a Continental Virgin, and slap them on there. The HSRs you can get for a decent price. Those I don't need a 16-ply either. Most times that we have some tires coming off our fleet for those van trailers, those are the only ones that we don't need a 16-ply for, because we're not getting overweight permits on our reefers and our vans. One of the things too we try to watch when we put our tires together. So on a set of duals, this is a Michelin casing with a Continental cap, right? So we try to put a Michelin casing with a Michelin casing, and put a Continental casing with a Continental casing. So most of our casings are Michelin or Continental, and we try to put Michelin with Michelin, Continental with Continental. Probably just in my head. I don't really care, but that's kind of what we try to do. I'll say this, Michelin does have, like, if you look, for example, this is a little bit wider, and then you look at some of these tires up here, and you can actually tell that, you know, on some of the recaps, that they're actually a little bit narrower. That does make a difference. Continental's casing, it seems like, is a little bit narrower, so the tread, you know, this width is not quite as wide versus this one. So we also, on our flatbed trailers, those are closed tandems, but we do have overweight permits, and I can get by with recaps on our flatbed trailers that are closed tandems. So it just seems, again, the weight is spread a little bit better, and we don't have that issue with them blowing. So I'll run recaps on them. And like our flatbed trailers, we only use them, well, I should say there's about 4 or 5 flatbed trailers that we use maybe 6 to 8 months out of the year, and the rest of the year they're mostly sitting. And even in the time that we are using them, it's not like we're using them every day. They run a load out in the morning, they come back, they drop, and they might run 2 loads a day, you know, so half a day's worth of work when they do get run. The Michelin XZE, honestly, I'd love to run all Michelin. They make a great tire, but in trailer application, like I said, they don't quite cut it for us, because I've noticed too many times they start chunking, and as far as wear, they wear almost identical to a Continental. Very, very, very similar to a Continental. And then on top of that, you have to pay $100 more for an XZE versus a Continental. It's ridiculous. So that's why we run primarily the Continental on our fleet. When I bought those 3 new Kenworths, at the time, the only Michelins I could get on those were XZEs, so I ordered all 3 of them with XZEs the whole way around. We pulled them off and we ran them for steer tires. So most times if we get an XZE in, we're using it on a steer application. They do make other steer tires. We've been messing around with it a little bit. We run into the issue of 16 ply, but other than that, it's just tracking the mileage and seeing what we get out of them. Most of our steer tires, we're getting, it varies, 60 to 120, maybe 110, I should say. It just depends how the guys run them. Again, too, makes a difference if they run the 5th wheel front, back, tire wear. The other thing I'll say with our application, this is an open shoulder. With our fleet, we've had the best luck with an open shoulder drive tire. We run into so many different scenarios, and open shoulders have been the best for us. It seems like you get much better wear, much even wear. And when those XDN2s run down, you know, we try to put them on in the fall, and then the guys have good traction all winter, and then they run out very well in the summer. In the summertime, you know, the traction does get down there, and you can see, you know, by this tire right here, you know, once they get down there, it doesn't give a lot of traction. But I'll say this, the compound on the tire is much, much better. Here's one that's wore down. You still have this siping in here, and if you can see that siping, and that flexes. So even though it doesn't look like a lot of traction when you're on ice or something like that, I feel it definitely provides much better traction than some of these other tires. My pickup came with Goodyear tires from factory. Worst tires ever. When I put Michelins on them, on my pickup, unbelievable difference. You know, those Goodyears were like skis, and it just, you know, it's a cheap tire that the manufacturers put on from factory, and I don't like them. So I'm just gonna show you guys again real quick the tires, the tread patterns of these tires. So again, the Continental HS3, try to get you a better shot of the tread design. And then this one does have a decoupling groove. You can see the decoupling groove. This is our Continental HSR2. This is our Michelin XDN2. This is the Continental, I think it's an HT3 recap, retread. And then this is the Michelin XZE. So guys, hopefully this helps. Maybe if you guys are making a decision on tires, they're expensive, and you know, trying to find something that works is tough. And especially if you're only 1 or 2 trucks, you know, trying to figure out what works. I'll say this with caps. I know a lot of guys are against caps. If you know what you send in, you'll get good caps back. And make sure, here's another thing, sometimes tire guys, these guys will take your tires, take your 8 casings, send them away for a recap, or they take them back to their warehouse, and when they do send them in for a recap, they send them in with everybody else's recaps, and they come back, you don't know what you're getting back. So make sure you mark your tires, write down the serial number on them or whatever you want, mark them, tell your salesman, I want my exact tires back. So that way, when they cap them, you get your exact tires back. You know exactly what you have, and I am 99% sure you will not have issues with your recap. You might, you know, if you're running a $3,000 set of fenders on your truck, okay, I probably wouldn't run recaps. It's not worth it. If you're running fenders like a lot of our trucks, you know, I have a 50% chance of it blowing that one, 50% chance blowing here. So I don't, if it blows this, you can pick those up, what, 80 bucks, 120 bucks, not a big deal. Again, guys, hopefully this helps. I know tires are one of those things people got a lot of opinions on. And if you've seen my poll, you see that Michelin was up there. They make an excellent tire, but with everything that is going on right now, Michelin tires are very hard to get. A lot of tires actually are very hard to get. So I would make sure that if you're getting tires or you're thinking about getting tires, maybe buy a few in advance. It doesn't hurt tires to sit for a year, but make sure that you have tires to run so you're not put in a corner and then you're running, you know, just some off-brand. And I'll tell you this too, we actually ran Chinese tires. We didn't have good luck with Chinese tires. They just did not hold up compared to these tires. Continental tires, Michelin, definitely great tires. That's just my 2 cents, guys. I'm interested to see what all you guys say in the comments. That's another thing. I am just doing these videos from my head. So I probably forgot something, whatever. I'll probably catch it in the next video. Like I said, I really appreciate you guys' support. So if I miss something, I'll try to follow up with another video, maybe tie it in with something else. But if you watch this channel long enough, you'll see a little bit of the work that we do, and I would encourage you to go back and watch some of the other videos, and you can see what all we get into and what trucks we operate, how heavy we haul, things like that. So kind of cool. As always, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Peace.